So today we're going to talk about how to ignite your creative power. And you're going to ask how that topic came up. Tuesday night, I've been struggling with a cough, a dry cough, real bad one. And it was 2 o'clock in the morning, and I could not stop. You know how you go? It was like 3:30, and I'm going, whoa. And a thought came to me. Why do we have a cough? And here's what I came to. To release or clear something. What does a cough normally attract if something's not cleared? Another cough. And you keep attracting a cough and a cough and a cough until something is cleared. Does that make sense? And sometimes we don't know how long it's going to take for whatever it is to be cleared because we don't know why. You know, there's so many different types of cough that you can have a different experience with this, a different experience with that. Mine turned out to be a dry cough, and it was related to the change in weather pattern. That my system was responding differently, and I found out things that I didn't know because I went to this incredible Chinese doctor who explained something to me I'd never heard before. But I had an instantaneous result with this woman. And so I started saying, okay, so how does that work with what we teach? So what is the purpose of a thought? It's to ignite the creative process, isn't it? We talk about change your thinking, change your life. So having a thought, it's about to ignite the creative process, and one thought will attract another like thought until a belief is built, and when the belief is built, we create anew. So if we start thinking down a path of thought, and we keep going down that path, like thoughts come in, like thoughts come in, like thoughts come in, like thoughts come in. You keep having those same thoughts, you have the experience of those thoughts. If you're talking about what's wrong with you all the time, what are you going to have in your life? More things that are wrong with you. Are you talking about what's right with you at this time? You're going to have more things that way. It's not that you're going to have more things. You're going to be aware of more things that are like that. Do you get that? Because there are things in our lives, we can't control some of the experiences we have. Because we're in 7.5 billion people, and we're going to get bombarded by whatever they're going to say and do. We're going to be a part of that. But how we react to those people, that is a choice by us. That's where our power is, our reaction to, or better yet, our response to. I think that's real important. Reaction means it's programmed. Response means it's consciously chosen. So let's go on with that. We have the power to stop any particular thought pattern, but most of the time we forget that we have this power. Instead, we allow ourselves to remain victims to our past thought patterns, or we simply forget the power. When I was in the midst of my coughing spell, I forgot to do spiritual mind treatment. I forgot to come out of the condition and start treating the root. I forgot to do that. And so what happened? I stood in the condition. I kept getting the condition because what did Einstein say? You've got to come out of the consciousness that created the problem in order to fix the problem. You can't fix it at the same level of consciousness. Does that make sense? And so I was stuck there. Absolutely stuck there. And here's what happened. I got an invitation from my beautiful friend Chi to join her for lunch, and I kindly wrote her back and said, I can't make it. I can't make it because I'm not feeling well. I needed to recharge. And she said, and Chi, Chi's one who likes to know all the details. There's no question about that. She's a beautiful soul. I love her for that. And she asked me, what's going on? So I gave her a real brief thing. I'm not a big texter, but I gave her a little thing. She says, well, go see my Chinese woman. That's what we do. We go, I said, well, send me her information, and she did. And then I had this information I'm looking at this information, and I said, so what do I do? And it finally hit me, pray about it. So I did a spiritual mind treatment about the guidance, and the guidance says, call this woman up and go see her. And I called this woman up, and I went to this woman's home, and I had an experience that has changed me. Things I learned I would have never have learned. And I said, where did you get your education? She said to me, it was passed down to me through 600 years in my family. That's wisdom. And so when when Jean got home on Friday, one of the things she did is she took some type of device. I think it was a torture device. And she had me take off my shirt. And I took off my shirt and she rubbed this thing. She rubbed it specific ways on parts of my back and on my shoulders. And that, I got home, I took off my shirt to see what she had done. I was purple. I was deep blues and purples. I looked like a war field. And then I changed my eating and my drinking according to what she said. That night, because I listened to the prayer, I went and I started following through. I was 50% better. Last night, I was probably 80% better. But I had to stop for a moment and pray and make a conscious choice to do something different. Do you see what I'm saying? Because I wasn't doing anything that was causing the situation to change. I had to do something different. And you never know how spirit or individual mind's going to come forth. In this case, it came forth through a connection with Chi, who brought forth another divine expression, and I was open to receive that. We have the power to create a new pattern of thought, but most of the time we forget that we are without limits. We unknowingly continue to accept what is. This is huge. We are constantly accepting what is and saying that we are limited, and we're not. We must constantly step into the chosen unknown. Do you hear that? That's a really big word there. Chosen unknown, because that's where the good comes from. The good, it doesn't come from staying in the past. The good comes from stepping into the chosen unknown, because that's where the adventure is. That's where the growth is. That's where the juice is. That's where we get inspired. When you're in a relationship for eternity, like I am with Jean, you can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. You got to step into the unknown for it to be exciting. Does that make sense? Now, she doesn't like that all the time. I do. And I'm grateful that she's open to receiving suggestions. This is where I'm going to spend most of my time today, because I think this is absolutely paramount. This wasn't in the original. This came to me this morning when I was in the hot tub at 4. Without commitment, there's no belief. Do you really understand what I'm saying? Without commitment, there's no belief. So, for the past month and a half, I've been following this guy on YouTube by the name of Jeremy, and I don't remember, Rainier, I want to say maybe. And he is a trainer. He's an elite trainer. He trains like Antonio Brown, the wide receiver. He trains elite athletes. And this guy, he's got a YouTube channel I've been following. I've probably watched 35 or 40 videos of his. And this guy is Mr. Buff. And he's not a bodybuilder, but he's an extreme physical fitness guru. And I finally went to his website. And when I went to his website, I noticed that he offers online programs. And I started to look at these programs. And so I put in which program's right for you. I put down my stuff. This program came up. I said, well, that's interesting. I put it aside. Day later, I pulled it back up. Put it aside. Yesterday, I pulled it up. And I signed up for it. It was fascinating. I watched the videos that lead into it, that once you sign up that you get. Here's an interesting thing that he says. 90% of you who bought this program will not finish it. Tony Robbins will tell you 90% of the people who buy his material that are at his conference, having spent thousands of dollars, will never open up the package that the CDs or whatever it's in are in. 90% of the books that people buy are never fully read. People come to me as a minister and say, I start my spiritual practice. And they're going along, and then I'll ask them a month later, how's it going? Well, I've had a lot come up in my life. Well, I believe in spiritual practice. And you know what I'm going to tell you? If you're telling me you're not doing it every day, no, you don't believe it. You don't believe it because you don't have commitment. Do you get that? If you have a belief, there's automatically commitment associated with it. Is there not? Do you believe you could be married to someone for whatever period of time? You got to have a commitment to do that. You can't be loosey-goosey with that. If you're going to have children, do you believe you're making a commitment for the rest of your life to that child? Do you believe that? Do you understand that? It requires a commitment. So where in your life have you decided to believe something, or where in your life are you pretending that you have beliefs that are just garbage? You're fooling yourself. You're playing with yourself. You're not living in reality. Because if you believe something, you will commit to it. And that's why I hesitated signing up for this program, because I know how intense it's going to be. I've been in the gym for 40 years, 40 plus years I've been going to the gym. So I understand what's involved in the gym. This guy's beyond me. And I have some fear of the unknown. But I said, I want to make the gains that I know that I really would like to experience in my life. And so I'm saying that because this Tuesday I turned 68 years of age. And I'm going to do things that most 21-year-olds don't do. Because I don't believe that age is a factor in this life. I believe that age is a state of mind that we create around ourselves. And when we create that state of mind, it limits us. If you act old, you have an old life. If you act young, you have a young life. The question is, what do you believe? I can tell you what you believe by how are you acting. Someone will say to me, Lee, I believe in a healthy lifestyle. So what'd you eat last night? You know if they believe in it or not. No, they don't believe in it. I'm not judging whether it's good or bad. They don't believe in it because what you do is a demonstration of what you believe. Here's one thing I know about Brian Brickman. Brian Brickman believes that being a father is the most important thing in his life. And he has his son every other week, and when he's with him, he will not do anything that will interfere with his time with his son. So what that tells me is that his belief is combined with a commitment. I honor that. Now, if Brian Brickman tells me he's going to go on a really radical diet, I'm not believing that at all. There's no commitment there. Just go look at his Facebook page. That'll tell you everything you need to know. Facebook will tell you what you're committed to. I'm telling you right now. I want to ask you, we've got many areas of our lives. We've got our spiritual, we've got our career, we have our relationships, we have our self-love, we have financial, we have social. Where is it that you think you need to make a greater commitment to yourself about something? What is it that you've been putting aside, that you've been running from, that you've been hiding from? What is that one area? And ask, why am I afraid to step out and make a commitment? And a lot of people are going to say, I don't have enough time. If something is valuable to you, you will find the time. You can find the way. It's like you could do this program I'm doing. It was $97. That's not a big investment, is it? You can do it and have almost no equipment. He has a routine for that as well. But you got to want it. You really got to want it. Here's something that I've learned. Without a big want, you're not going to develop a big why. And without a big why, there's no commitment. So the question I asked myself was, why do I want to take this journey with this gentleman? Because I want to, in my hundreds, be doing what I'm doing right now. And if I want to do this when I'm in my hundreds, I've got to make sure that today I'm taking care of me better than anyone else, because most people will never live to be 100. So if I follow their example, I'm not going to live my goal. Does that make sense? So you've got to set your personal goal, and when you set your personal goal, you live according to it, and you cannot give a flip what anyone else thinks. The good thing about this little Chinese doctor, I asked her, she said, because I wasn't producing enzymes. And when I was with my Rolfer this last Wednesday, I went and got Rolf by Debbie. And Debbie's known me for 20 years, and you strip down into your briefs, and she does an evaluation of your body, and then she works on you. And she looked at your body and says, you look great. I've never said this before, and I know you're not feeling good, but you'll need to lose 5 pounds in your belly. I said, really? She says, yeah. I said, 6 weeks ago you didn't say that. I've not eaten any differently. I didn't do anything like that. And then I thought about, so when I was with the Chinese doctor, and she started talking about the lower thing, I said, would this type of situation cause the appearance of having extra belly fat? And she said, yes. Do you know how good that made me feel? Do you know how good that made me feel? Why am I saying that? I'm saying to you because we do judge ourselves, right? We do judge ourselves. And so if we judge ourselves, it's always good to understand when something's not going the way we want it to go, so we can figure out what to do next, right? Don't we want to know what is causing us the problem so we can deal with the problem? What I've come to understand is the greatest prayer we can do is the prayer of clarity. Ask for the divine wisdom within you to guide and direct you to understand what it is that you're seeking that will best service you as you unfold your true, infinite, divine nature. And ask for just that next step to be shown. Don't be asking for great things out in the future. Just say, I want to be guided step by step toward that next unveiling of what is mine to do. And then it just starts happening. It's easy that way, and that's how life is. Remember, life is the natural evolution of prayer. And prayer is a step-by-step progression into a greater awareness of the truth that is within us. I don't know that I can say that any better. So the question is, when you tell someone that you believe something, ask yourself, am I really committed to it? That'll be your answer. Okay, did anyone text any questions? I don't know. I didn't see anyone moving to their phones. I'll take a peek. We had an interesting week last week, didn't we? How do you restart your creativity after a negative encounter with another person? Well, you go back and you ask the question, what is it about that situation that caused me to feel negative? What was it that I had that was negative in that situation? And then I would ask the question of, what expectation did I have about what that situation was going to be like? Because if we deem a situation as being negative, it's because we had an expectation that was maybe unrealistic about that person or about that situation, where we were trying to control it, not realizing where that person was, and there was no way they were going to live up to what we wanted. So many times when we have that negative energy that we feel around another person, they're just not a vibrational match with us at the time. And if they're not a vibrational match with us, why are we expecting them to be different? We have to be able to let go of that expectation and allow people the freedom to be themselves. And it gets tougher and tougher when it's a member of your family, but so what? Family is going to be your greatest growth. Family is going to be your greatest stimulant for becoming more aware, because they're the ones you're with all the time.
I want to thank you for joining us today. I'm so grateful that you took your time to watch or listen to this message. If you found this message beneficial, I would ask that you go to our website, agapecsl.com. Once there, click on the donate button and experience the joy of conscious and purposeful giving. Or if you would like, text your gift by simply dialing 972-532-6976. It is through your gifts that we are able to bring this message to you in the world. I would ask that if you like this message, to please subscribe to my YouTube channel under my name, Lee Wolak. Again, I want to thank you for joining me in the Agape community as we learn how to better self-love through conscious living.